Hello, Grace fam. Listen, we're getting ready for 21 days of prayer and fasting. I cannot wait. Are you excited? Are you ready for what God has for you in 2023? I mean, can you believe it? It's a whole new year. Listen, whole new year, baby, it's about to be a whole new you. But one thing that is consistent is it is the same God. So I am so excited. 21 days kicks off January the 9th through January 29th. Okay, so I know you're looking for all the details and you want to know what's going on. So first thing is, during 21 days of prayer and fasting, we consecrate ourselves for 3 weeks unto the Lord. We do a combination of prayer and fasting and communion with each other, and of course, unto the Lord. So first things first, there's a million frequently asked questions. So I'm going to go ahead and try to squash those right now. Number one, we want to start this year off with our first fruits unto the Lord and consecrating the 3 weeks unto the Lord and giving that back to Him. How are we going to do that? We're going to make sure that we're dedicating some fasting time, which I'll get into that. I know. Also, we want to make sure that we're dedicating prayer time, specifically focused on the Lord. I really strongly believe that our fasting is not necessarily measured in quantity as much as it is quality. And we teach that here at Grace, the same thing for our prayer. God is not concerned with how long you pray if it is an effective prayer, right? So a good 5 minutes is way better than a bad hour. And so we want to make sure that we're dedicating this time and giving it unto the Lord and presenting ourselves as a living sacrifice. So 21 days, we're going to do no meat. Yes, you heard that right. No meat for anybody across the board for 21 days. And then what we're going to do is on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Mondays at 6:30 a.m., we're going to have a prayer call every Monday morning of the 21 days. Every Wednesday afternoon, Wednesdays at noon, we're going to have a prayer call. Because we understand that as we are consecrating ourselves into the Lord, we need a little encouragement to help us along the way. Our fasting goal for new beginners is going to be 12 hours. Yes, a combination of 12 hours. So for example, you could do 3 days and fast for 4 hours per day. So I could fast for 4 hours on Monday, 4 hours on Wednesday, 4 hours on Friday. There being, I have my 12 hours for the week, okay? Or for advanced, those of you who have fasted before, who have done this 21 days, the many years that we've done it, I want to challenge you to do a minimum of 24 hours on week 1, okay? So what that looks like is you can do a combination of 12 hours. You can do a combination of 6 hours per day. Whatever you feel, whatever is best for your schedule and best for you. I don't want to say whatever's easiest because we're not looking for easy. We're definitely looking for a challenge here. 2, for a new beginner, you're gonna migrate, okay? You're gonna go from 12 week 1, week 2 is 24, and week 3 is 48, okay? So any combination of hours to equal up to those totals at the end of the week. Also, we want to do a minimum of 4 hours. Let's don't be talking about I'm fasting for 12 hours and I'm going to fast 2 hours every day. Okay? Come on now. You can do this. Think of the days that you go without eating breakfast, or you go without eating lunch, and you just continue to go and you forget. So you definitely can do this. The only difference here is we're saying I am intentionally pushing my plate back because I want to hear from God. But during your fasting time, you're going to choose one of 3 fasts, okay? Number 1 is going to be absolute. Absolute fasting means no food or water. Absolute, okay? Nothing. Number 2 is going to be a water fast. Some people refer to it as a liquid fast. It just depends on the that you're talking to. But that's going to be water only. So during the duration of my fast time, okay? In 1, I do 6 hours and I do water only for 6 hours. The fasting time. So again, absolute, water, selective. Okay, we're getting fancy with the fasting names. Last year we call it Daniel fast, but in actuality, anything that is not an absolute fast or a water fast is referred to as a selective fast, okay? That's when you decide that you're going to refrain from certain things for a certain period of time, okay? Now, we're still subscribing to the Daniel fast. For many of you, you may want to say, I want to do the Daniel fast, plus I want to take out this and this and this really fast, like that. There's another new term here in Christianity that's coming up. It's called a soul fast. I want to challenge you to do that in conjunction with your no meat for the 21 days, okay? Now, the beautiful thing about soul fasting is that this is an opportunity for you to be honest with yourself, and this is not something that Pastor Patrice, Pastor Theo, or Pastor Shamar can choose for you. This is something that you have to say, hey, this is where I'm having a problem, and I need to eliminate it. So soul fasting can look like refraining from social media for 21 days. It can look like refraining from Roblox for my kids for 21 days. It can look like refraining from talking on the phone. I'm going to limit the amount of time that I'm talking on the phone with people because those conversations are not benefiting my soul. It is an elimination of anything that is causing me not to be able to consecrate fully and focus solely on God. Okay? I'm going to do the food stipulation fasting thing. I'm going to dedicate myself into prayer, but I want to stretch a little more. I want to get away from doing this, or I want to get away from doing that. Also, another thing that Pastor Theo always tells us to embrace during the 21 days is we're going to be listening to Christian music only. We want to make sure that we're building up our spiritual man. Listen, and I'll end with this. I've always heard of this tale. I think I may have used it in preaching before. But there is a man who had 2 dogs. And in the story, they talk about how, these dogs were identical. They were the exact same dog. They were born by the same mom and just the same breed and all those things. And so the man would make a bet in the city to try to get money, right? And he would bet who was going to win that week. And so the people could never try to distinguish between who was going to win and who was going to lose because it switched every week. Every time the man came, a different dog won. And so this particular week, let's say dog A and dog B. So this particular week, the man comes to town and he's getting ready to fight his dogs, and the dogs begin to fight. And then the people are thinking, man, how do you keep beating us? How do you keep winning the bet? How do you know who's going to win the fight? And the man simply says, I know who's going to win the fight based off of who I fed that week. What does that have to do with prayer? What does that have to do with fasting? During this time, for the next 21 days, we're going to be consecrating ourselves unto the Lord. But most importantly, we want to feed our spiritual man so that he can win the fight, guaranteed, every week. Friend, I'm telling you, for the next 21 days, if we can focus on feeding our spiritual man, we are guaranteed that when the enemy comes in like the flood, not only will the Spirit of the Lord lift up a banner, but you will be strong enough to stand in the face of adversity. You will be strong enough to declare what is the word of the Lord. You will be strong enough to have the faith to walk through whatever God has for you in this season. I'm telling you, friend, I'm excited about what God is getting ready to do for you, but most importantly, what God is getting ready to do through you. Cannot wait. Welcome to 21 days of prayer and fasting.